Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and today we are doing a work with me. I have 24 fleece blankets to embroider. This is the design. It is for my local Douglas Dolphin swim team. They have a Valentine's Day meet coming up and they wanted to give the participants a gift for participating in the meet. So I have 24 of these blue fleece blankets. The design is just going to go in the bottom right corner. She wanted it at an angle. So I'm going to run this design on both machines and we're going to see how many we can get done running both machines at the same time. So I have my 5x7 for the EM1010, so you can see it fits just like that. And then I have the 7x7 round hoop for the TC. So I have my design printed out twice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some tearaway. I'm going to use tearaway on these since this is like it's just like I don't know, one sheet of fabric. You know, there's not any way I can hide the back, so I'm going to use tearaway to make it as clean as possible. So I'm just going to pin my design on the corner and then hoop it and then put it on. It's only two colors. The text is in white and then the hearts are in red. So it should go pretty fast. I'm not sure where she ordered these. The customer brought them by, but I am going to keep the packaging and this little like cardboard wrap just so I could wrap them all back up, make them look really nice when we deliver. So I'm going to make sure I keep all of that. Yeah, so I've got my hoops, I've got my printout, I'm going to use tearaway. And I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and get these blankets done. Okay, so the thing with these blankets is they are not perfectly square. They are 50 by 60. So I'm trying to figure out which corner I am going to do it on so that they are all uniform. I'm not going to rip that tag off because it's like sewn inside. So I'm not going to take that off. So I guess maybe I would go long ways like that. So the longer side is the width and not the height. So I'm going to do this side as the bottom right. And I'm going to remember that for every single blanket. Okay, so I actually grabbed my acrylic ruler. Now, your gridded rulers like this usually have the angle lines. So I'm going to use the middle one, the 45-degree angle. Now this blanket is not a perfect square on the corner. You can see it's rounded. So I'm just going to line it up as best as I can. But this center line right here on the design, I'm going to line up underneath with the 45-degree line so that I know my design is exactly at 45 degrees. And then I'm going to make sure that it is approximately the same width from each corner. And, you know, these blankets are not perfectly made, so I'm just going to get it as close as I can to where I think it looks even. And that is about 2 inches from the edge. And this one is a little less than 2, so I'm going to move it over just a tad. And I think that looks really good, so I'm going to hold it in place right there while I pin, and then I'm going to go back over it just to give myself a marker. I am I'm about 3 inches from the bottom, so now I know for every one that I measure and pin, I'm 3 inches from the bottom and approximately 2 inches from the sides. So I'm going to remember that for every single blanket that I pin so that they are all approximately in the same spot. Now, like I said, not all of them have the same, you know, they're not all perfectly straight. I don't know if you can tell that in the camera right here, but it's a little bumpy right here, like it's not perfectly straight. So we're just going for approximate right now, what looks good to the eye. So this one is ready to go. On your TC hoops, you have this ring on the bottom. Now, I'm not going to hoop this as I normally would to where you know, what faces out of the machine faces me. You know, when you put the hoop in the machine, this faces you, this goes to the left. We actually need to hoop this technically upside down because you don't want the bulk of the blanket in the throat of the machine. So I'm gonna make sure that my bottom hoop and my top hoop are upside down so that I can place this into the machine the correct way and have the bulk of the blanket hanging down the front, not in the throat of the machine. So I'll show you that as we put it onto the machine too. So I'm gonna make sure my hoop is straight underneath. Make sure my design is roughly in the middle, and then line up the crosshairs with my markers on the hoop. And that looks pretty straight. Now I know a lot of people have struggles with hooping and hooping straight and hooping correctly. It takes practice. There are many, many times where I have to undo it and readjust. So I like to hold it up, see if it's straight, see if I like it, and I think that looks really, really good. So that's ready for the machine. So this is what I meant by technically hooping it upside down. So as you can see, when you hold it like this, all you have is this small corner, and then you have the bulk of it behind. If I were to hoop this to where it was facing me, so when you hoop, this part goes to your left. So to me, when I'm hooping it like this, or when I have it like this part goes to the left, and this U goes to the top right. So it goes into the machine like this. I hope that makes sense. So if I were to do it how I had it before, it would be opposite, and the bulk of this blanket would be back here in the throat. But because I hooped it upside down, now the bulk of it can be back here, and when I put it on the machine, the bulk of it just hangs down. So I'm actually going to put my little stool here to kind of hold it just so it doesn't drag on the floor. But now the bulk of it, like I said, is hanging down and not in the back of the throat. So I did the same thing with the EM1010. The bulk of it's going to hang down the front. And actually, you know what I did not do? I did not flip this upside down. That would have been very bad. And we're good. So now I'm going to remove this. And I forgot to say this in the beginning when I said what supplies I had. I am going to put water-soluble stabilizer over this just for good measure. It's not a super thick fleece, but we are doing mostly text in this design. So especially like the, you know, the commas, the hyphens, some of these smaller ones, I don't want to get lost. So I am going to do water-soluble stabilizer just for good measure. And I still have a bunch of these samples from when I got both of my machines. So I'm just going to use 2 of these in here. And then I'm just going to make sure my colors are correct. It's going to do white first and then red. And I'm good to go. So now I'm going to press start. Good morning, guys. It is the next day. I got 9 blankets done yesterday. I was hoping to get more done, but I ended up having to pause and take a phone call and, mom stuff. And so I didn't finish as many as I wanted. So I'm going to see how many I can get done today. Today's Friday. I do have to have them done by this weekend, so I don't feel like pressured for a time crunch or anything. I just was hoping to get them all done in one day. But we are gonna keep running both machines and get as many done as we can. So I'm just gonna do another time lapse and keep going. I've got my coffee. It's pretty early here. We're gonna start our homeschool day here pretty soon, so I'm gonna be in and out, doing that as I wait for the blankets to finish stitching and everything, and normal life stuff for me in between stitch outs. So let's go ahead and finish these blankets. So I wasn't paying attention and I thought I just had a thread break. You guys, this is such a rookie mistake. Oh my gosh. I completely ran out of white. So that's fun. So I'm gonna have to back this up a little bit and add a new white. Okay guys, just wanted to check in with you. It is actually almost 5 o'clock. It is 4:48 in the afternoon. I have been going at this all day, and you guys, I am absolutely exhausted. I thought I would have these done so much sooner. I have had so many thread breaks today that I am just to the point of like, I'm gonna lose my mind. So for some reason, my TC just flat out does not like that bro thread from Amazon. I have had thread breaks on just about every single letter, and obviously that takes time to, you know, loop it back through where it came out, or it like shreds it, and so it has just been nonstop. and I'm so tired of hearing that beeping. I feel like I can hear it now. Hey guys, editing Kayla here. I just wanted to insert a clip into this part of the video right here and just explain a little bit more, because I don't want to get comments of like, oh, your tension is why it's shredding. I know I have had a lot of problems with tension lately, specifically on my TC. I have almost no bobbin thread when I do a tension test, and you know, every indicator says that my top tension's too loose, and even on the top, I mean, it looks like a loose, thready mess. But I have tightened, and nothing has helped. I've gotten a couple needles okay. That's why I was able to run like just 2 colors for these blankets, because they were fine. So I don't want to come off like I'm saying, oh, it's just the cheap Amazon thread, because I have no problem with that thread on my EM1010 and on other designs and stuff. It's just, for whatever reason, this day, it just did not like the white thread. It kept breaking and it was so frustrating. So if you are having similar issues, it's very highly likely a tension problem. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know it's a tension issue. I know that it's shredding and breaking that much is tension. It's not just the thread, so I don't want it to seem like I'm just bagging on the thread. So yeah, so I just wanted to add that little caveat in here. I just have 1 blanket left. Everything's done except for just the one, so I'm gonna pop this one on and then finish tomorrow. Well, kind of. What I'm gonna do after this one stitches out, since they all have water-soluble stabilizer left on the top, I got up as much as I could just with my hand, but there is still little bits. So I'm gonna spray them all with water and let them dry overnight, and then tomorrow morning I'm going to just clean them up, clean up the threads, clean up the rest of the stabilizer on the back, and then fold and package them. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Just wanted to check in, and I will see you guys in the morning. Alright guys, so I have all 24 blankets done. I didn't know how else to prop up all of them to show you guys. I'm going to take every single one of them and put them back in the bag in the cardboard wrap that they came in, just like that, just so they look nice and clean, almost exactly how she dropped them off to me, just with the added embroidery. I cleaned up the inside, let's see right here, I cleaned up the inside as best as I could, cleaned up all the jump stitches, and just try to make them look really, really nice, really, really clean. Yeah, so I'm going to package all these up in their bags and then deliver them to the customer and call it a day on this order. So I hope you guys enjoyed this work with me. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in my next video.